Hey all, welcome back to Grand Mountain Adventure Wonderlands. I'm Insetic, with me is just Blank Tester.
Hey kids, how's it going?
In this video, we're headed to Elnakka, Finland.
Elnakka?
I don't think it really translates to anything, but I typed it in and, said, hey, what does it sound like? And,
okay. Yeah, well, Elnakka.
Yeah.
I haven't been on this series yet, but I gotta say, I like the vibe of this game. It reminds me of, you mentioned this in the first one, it reminds me of Lonely Mountains Downhill, and I think that's a good thing. I think that works to this game and that game's benefit. I'm a little, I wonder, so on mobile, were there on-screen buttons?
Yeah, from what I've seen, there's areas to touch, like how...
Okay. I hate that. I hate that for I don't know.
I mean, they have it, transparent. But, yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? It's better that than, trying to rotate it back and forth, the phone.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah. I mean, because, the most you're doing in this game is... At least for me on the controller, rotating the control stick. Not rotating it, but moving it left,
switching
right,
it
left,
back
right.
And forth.
Yeah, so... It was like those, and then to do tricks, you kind of, you put your thumbs on those interact areas and then moved them both, up or down, or, the same thing as on the control sticks. Again,
I bet this game had controller compatibility even on mobile, because, a lot of games these days have... those, there's the controller add-on things that you can...
Maybe?
Right, that's a more common thing these days than it used to be, so more games are starting to just come with that.
I'd have to look at that more. I haven't really looked at, the mobile version of this all that much. Though it's interesting, so there's, for this Wonderlands version, I'm probably going to say Wildlands at some point.
Yeah.
Just warning you all right now. Tom Clancy's Grand Mountain Adventure Wildlands.
Yeah.
For the Wonderlands version, there's 12 areas. 2 of them are exclusive to the Wonderlands version, so, only 10 of them are on the mobile version. But the mobile version has its own one exclusive area.
Okay.
Agpat Island.
Huh.
Which... I obviously wish was on this version because I enjoy it and I wanted to play more, but this is not one of the specifics. I'll point out in the 2 videos which levels are specific to Wonderlands.
Part of what I like about this, and maybe I'm giving the game too much credit when I say this, but just recently, I've been thinking a lot about the mobile games that I play and the ads that I see. And, so many mobile games these days are... And maybe this is obvious to everybody else, but I'm very consciously aware of how much they're just, they found one little loop of something that the human brain is wired to find slightly interesting. Objects falling in a hole, right? And then it's just that on repeat, over and over and over. There's no strategy, there's no nothing, right? And then or it'll be just moving an object left to right, right to left. And that's it. And what I'm liking, oh my god, didn't you just take that fucking guy out?
Yeah, you can knock people over for speed boosts.
Wow, that's great.
I know, it kind of goes against the entire rest of the feel of the game, but it's also sure, let's go with it.
But see, that's the kind of shit that I like, right? That makes me feel like I'm playing a video game as opposed to just stimulating a single part of my brain.
Yeah, no, it's literally, I don't even have to describe it more than it's just a full game.
It's just a full game. It's got a cute little vibe to it. It's got shit going on in it, but it's not ball-bustingly hard.
Yeah, and the aesthetic and all of that is, we've talked about that. It's not so low poly or low detail as to be whatever, but they're obviously not trying to make it like high-res textures or whatever. Again, they put all the effort like exactly where it needed to be. Yeah. The only thing I can really think of in terms of like a feature I would add or change or so is that when you're like spinning and flipping, you know, I'm so used to, even if it's just a slow kind of auto-correcting of your guy to the surface he's going to land on, you know, if it's going to go downhill or such, that I'm used to that. And so, like, if I hold a backflip for a bit too long or a barrel roll for a bit too long, you know, my guy will be at enough of an angle that he might crash, and it doesn't register with me in my head like, oh, I need to reverse that barrel roll enough to get him to a landable state. But that's like a small thing.
It's really a small thing, yeah. And I'm actually surprised at how big this area is. There's lots of dynamic stuff going on with the trees waving in the wind, and there's like depth of field. Taking these dudes out. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
What do you think about like the different camera angles? Because again, this one that's behind the character was actually an addition and is only in the Wonderlands version.
Weirdly enough, this I like the other camera angle better. I get
what they're getting at when I play with the back face.
Yeah, this camera angle feels to me like when you're going down some extremely steep stairs, and like you're like, I don't want to fall forward and just fall on my face and die. You know, and that clashes with the rest of the vibe of the game. You know, going from facing the front of the character is more akin to the cute sort of like diorama vibe.
Yeah, diorama, as Turo said. But again, it's just, it makes the gameplay harder. And,
that's true.
I want to have fun more than keep 100% to the experience.
Yeah. I mean, it is part of the experience. They put it in there.
Right.
So, I really appreciate the ability to speed this up.
Yeah.
That would suck shit if you couldn't.
I love how you just cut in line completely all the time. I mean, it makes sense. It would really suck if you had to wait behind everyone.
I didn't see the full episode 1 and 2. Are you able to customize your character?
No, not really. I mean, you can change... Yeah.
What I was going to say was, since there's no character customization, what I think would be kind of cool as like a fast travel thing would be if you could fast travel to points and the character you are here, the camera just kind of moves away from this person and zooms in on someone else, and you were just playing as that other person. Because there's no like real attachment to like, this is my guy and everybody else is nothing, right? Like, you could just take control of an NPC that's just milling about on the mountain and just keep playing. You know, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, so like in hit video game watch_dogs.
Exactly.
Legion.
Yeah, exactly. Just like we call it Grand Mountain Adventure Legion.
Yeah.
What is Pistimap?
Piste map. And Piste just roughly translates to trail, you know. So the map that I keep pausing and going to.
The piss map.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Watch out for the yellow snow on the piss map.
The number 1 map.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's kind of a thing where Piste is specifically like a groomed snow run for skiing / snowboarding down. So they're being, you know, technically as specific as they can be and correct as they can be in calling it that, and not just. I will say, you might have been able to notice this. The controlling the map with the thumbstick is really sensitive. It is super sensitive. You might notice my, little thumbstick icon flying past what I need to do or such. Especially because, like, it's almost like if you want to zoom in and go somewhere, you have to first zoom in and then go there. It's weird. You can't, like, really fine-tune, move yourself somewhere and then zoom in on that spot.
That is weird.
I almost don't really know how to explain it, but...
No, I get what you're saying. You kind of, yeah. Huh. That's weird. The yards.
The elements. The yards.
Look at that. This is just like a peaceful... This is a very different vibe than many of the games you've played. I mean, is this an extreme sports game?
It's a chill sports game.
It's a chill sports game.
I mean, extreme sports as a moniker has kind of been getting replaced with, like, action sports anyways.
Well, question. Do you think the opposite of extreme sports is intream sports?
Whoa. That's one of those things where, yeah, there's... technically, if you went by, the way prefixes and suffixes in certain words work,
Maybe.
Extreme sports implies there should be an intream sports.
Well, I don't know. I mean, is that where extreme comes from? Maybe extreme's etymology.
How did extreme get created as a word?
Well, I looked it up. Okay, it comes from Latin outer, exteris, turned to extremis, outermost, and then extreme. So if outermost is extremis, then okay, I'll look into it.
Yeah, because I guess technically maybe it started as like, well, not even outdoors sports, because all sports really started outdoor. Mm-hmm. Yeah, who popularized extreme as, like, larger than normal or more something than normal? When people were first inventing, like, surfing in the 60s or whatever, were they calling it an extreme sport? Like, when did that start?
Well, since the Latin word for extreme comes from extremis, right? Which is outermost. So I thought, what's innermost in Latin? And that's intima, right? Like intimate.
Intimate, yeah. So like
intimate sports.
Intimate sports is the opposite of extreme sports.
I guess, yeah. So what's an intimate sport? I mean, besides fucking.
Yeah, I guess.
Because intimate sports is a really lousy euphemism for, like, porn games.
You know what? Rename the Steam hentai section to intimate sports.
Intimate sports. Oh, that's good. But I still want to see where we can go with creating our own intimate sports.
Three-legged walking.
Three-legged walking. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's like,
like you have to be close to somebody, but it's not fucking.
Maybe it's like one of those, like, a co-op only game. Like you have to play it in co-op, and you have to coordinate with the other person.
Right, and there's, like, no scoring.
No scoring.
You're not trying to beat anybody else.
Yeah, I guess maybe
now,
there still could be.
I guess now it comes down to what makes a sport, because it's like one of those 9-section charts where the top ones are like as true to the law as possible, and then like middle of the law, and then like radical.
Oh, you mean like an alignment chart?
Alignment chart, yeah.
Yeah. Good to evil, lawful to chaotic, and of course there's still good.
Yeah.
But
good, but a pain in the tush or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking like maybe. I mean, like even traditional sports, which would fall in the extreme sports are on one end and the intimate sports are on the other, and then right in the middle is traditional sports. There are a lot of traditional sports that are team-based, solo. There are some sports that you can play all by yourself.
Right.
You can play golf by yourself. And you can even do well at golf all by yourself.
Then I think maybe we can start with what makes an extreme sport, and then take those actions and deliberately flip them.
Yeah, deliberately flip them.
For an extreme sport, there needs to be more like, I don't know, I almost want to say danger, or like putting yourself on the line, or...
Yeah, I think like technical skill that keeps you safe, right? Because like a skateboarder isn't in like primal, like life or death danger, but they are in danger of scraping themselves or falling off their board or whatever. And the technical skill that they have is what keeps them safe.
Right.
So, I guess in this...
Man versus elements.
Yeah. Man, yeah. Yeah.
Oh shit, so, isn't there already that whole man versus blank alignment chart thing? I feel like the back off that I'm going down too many paths here.
Well, I'm thinking about, okay, if man versus element is one of the markers of extreme sports, then what is the opposite of that?
Man versus self?
Oh, well, I think man in tune with elements.
Whoa.
Like maybe intimate sports would be something like...
nature hikes.
Gardening.
Oh.
Right? Like you're beautifying. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Maybe like a tree identification.
Professional bird watching.
Bird watching, exactly.
Sport.
Is an intimate sport as opposed to an extreme sport. I mean, I guess that means Dark Insetic plays Pokemon Snap.
Yeah.
Because that's an intimate sports game.
Dark Insetic plays like Firewatch or Pokemon
maybe
Snap or something like that.
Yeah. I think
Dark Insetic plays those board games 50 packs. Board and card games 50 pack for the Wii or whatever.
That's true,
for the Switch.
Yeah, 150 games in one. And it's just like 30 of them are exactly the same with different graphics.
Yeah.
I think also in intimate sports would be like, they've got like Power Wash Simulator. Yeah. But like that style of gameplay, but for something more naturey, if you're like hiking through it on a trail and there's like trash, you can pick up the trash.
Dude, like, is there like a bird watching kind of game or such? I know there's walking
besides
simulators.
Besides Pokemon Snap, I don't think so.
But like a game where you pretty much do just walk through an area or move through an area, but you do still have to do things, or you are searching for things.
We're talking about Strand-type gameplay.
Dude, we're talking
Death
about
Stranding.
Oh my god, yeah, Strand-type games are intimate sports.
Intimate sports, right? But the thing is, you can also ride your little carrier thing in Death Stranding. Like a skateboard. So that
is taking away from the intimateness of it. That is actually conceding to the general gaming market who wants things more on the extreme side.
That's true. That is true.
The truest Strand experience is to not even use like the run button. Just to like walk and move at the pace you want to move at.
So like a literal walking simulator or like
But again, like things, not just a walking simulator. Like there needs to be things like, again, a bird watching where it's like you are looking for a specific thing.
Yeah.
It's almost like a hunting game where you're not shooting the thing. You're just finding it.
You're just finding it. Like, it's not a hunting game, it's a seeking game.
Yes.
And you seek out the thing, and then you're done.
It feels like this is a type of game where so many other games have gotten close, but no one's quite made it yet.
But I think that's because people haven't accepted they haven't realized that it's an experience worth having.
Yeah, they haven't realized that intimate sports can be a thing.
Yeah, they haven't. Yeah.
But now that they have, by way of listening to this.
Right, now all those budding game developers are going to make intimate sports games.
Yes.
I'm really concerned people will think we're just talking about porn games.
I think we've done our best to define why we're not.
You know what, actually, As I said that, I was thinking, I feel like Kojima did not do a good job describing what a Strand-type game was, and everybody just kind of let him get away with that.
Yeah, no, totally.
So, we're not going to be in trouble with intimate sports, because we still have the word sports in there.
As much as it's like, oh my god, Kojima's a secret genius,
Oh, it's not a secret. Everybody knows he's a genius.
As much as it's like, okay, he's a genius, everyone gave Death Stranding shit at first, but then it totally turned out to be as prophetic as the rest of his stuff. Blah, blah, blah. No, the whole Strand-type game, I still don't really have a clue.
Yeah, yeah. There, right around the same time Death Stranding came out, there were at least 2 other games where you play as mailmen. Like 2 little indie games that came out. I don't remember what they're called, and I wish I did, because they both looked kind of interesting. That I think would probably also be considered Strand-type games. And there's a game called A Short Hike, which is an interesting game.
I've heard that.
This game reminds me of, because of the aesthetic.
Yeah, again, the kind of...
But I don't think A Short Hike counts as... Well, it might count as an intimate sport.
Dude.
It is a hiking game.
Wait a second. If Death Stranding is a Strand-type game, then isn't Paperboy for the NES a Strand-type game, and wouldn't that then be the first Strand-type game? Because you're delivering papers to people's houses.
Is there anything else you do in the game?
I think, like, avoid dogs and shit,
Right, yeah, but you do that in Death Stranding too. Yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah, Paperboy's probably a Strand-type game. Yeah, I think you're right.
Holy shit.
I mean, I'm struggling to think of a reason it's not.
Like, I think that then goes back to what exactly did Kojima mean by Strand-type game,
Well, I mean, to take him seriously, what he meant was that strands, like, the 2 things that the earliest inventions of humans, among them, were sticks and ropes. And ropes pull things together. And so strands are the connections between people. And as a person who feels very lonely throughout his life, Kojima wanted to make a game for other people who feel lonely, where I don't know why. If you're making a game for people who are feeling lonely, I don't know why you would make a game where you are completely alone for the whole fucking game.
No, yes. I mean, because lonely people know what it's like to be alone. No, okay, I was thinking Death Stranding more in the delivering things to people thing rather than bringing them together, but that is a major aspect of Death Stranding, rebuilding the world, bringing it together. So no, Paperboy is not a
I don't know.
Game.
The thing is, Paperboys deliver the news, and when the game came out, we didn't have the internet, right? So delivering the newspaper was the way you tied communities together.
Oh, shit.
Right? I mean, like, there was the radio, there was the television, and there was the newspaper. And the newspaper was a major component for thousands of years. Paper was the way that, well, I don't know about thousands of years, but then, like, hundreds of years at least, that's the way communities bound together.
Dude, then if, like, people tried to fill them out in the morning and then talked about it at all at the water cooler during the day, like, crossword puzzles were the first Strand-type games.
Oh, shit!
We can just keep going further and further back, man.
Oh my god, you're right. Sudoku could have been the first Strand-type game.
Yeah.
Man, who knew?
Yeah, this is going back to, like, Babylonian times.
Yeah, imagine the fucking the first guy to come up with a Sudoku. He's like, or like a first guy to come up with a crossword puzzle. He's like, okay, I'm creating a new type of game. okay? This is a Strand type game. And everyone goes,
what the fuck?
What the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, you know how, like, we have that game where you, like, throw rocks at the ugly person in town? Well, this is a different kind of game. This is a game that brings people together.
Then again, throwing rocks at the ugly person also probably brought people together.
It did. You know what it did? And I'm guessing the guy who first suggested it was a Strand-type game to put words in a grid probably got rocks thrown at him. Yeah. And that did bring people together.
Yeah, like ancient kings or shit, you know, like Nebuchadnezzar or Nezarec
Nebuchadnezzar
or
hears this and goes, Nezarec!
You know, yeah.
Jesus Christ. But Nebuchadnezzar's like, who is this guy? Get him out of here. I don't want to hear this.
You know how people still reference that ancient, like, E.A. Nasir guy who sold poor quality copper?
Yeah, really shitty copper.
There's some guy out there who invented the world's first Strand-type game back in, like, ancient BC.
Yeah.
And his name is just waiting to be found.
Yeah. And he brought people together.
Yeah.
In their hatred of his pretentious bullshit. They're like, come on, this guy sucks. Why are we listening to him?
Yeah.
No, he's got a point, maybe.
He was the modern day Socrates, like 4,000 years ago. If anything, Socrates was the modern day him at the time.
Well, yeah.
I mean, what period was like the ancient Greeks again?
I don't know my history.
After yeah. Well, I mean, there were so many ancient periods that, yeah. Dude, imagine being called the modern day so-and-so when you lived in like 2000 BC.
Yeah. Ancient Greece was 12th to 9th centuries BC.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, it's...
And they, like, knew of some civilizations before them, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was
so people could reference old stuff and say they are the modern day da-da-da when they live in 1200 BC.
Yeah, I mean, like, people in ancient Greece could have... they could have been making, like, old Dick Boer style jokes, right? Like, they could have been looking at some old fuck who's like 45 because the life expectancy was much lower. They look at some guy who's like 45 and they say, wow, that guy was around when the Mahabharata was written.
Get a look at this guy.
And we're all like, wow. I mean, what the fuck? But like, you know, they could have been there.
Yeah.
That could have been what they were doing.
Did you hear about like how the now world's oldest joke was discovered, and it was like a Sumerian joke about like a... you'll have to look this up too. I feel like you're the guy back in base.
Well, wasn't it like an ancient fart joke?
No, now it's a joke about a blind dog opening a bar or something.
Oh right, yes. It was yeah. I remember hearing about this. Let me look. I'm looking it up. A dog walks into a bar and says, "I cannot see a thing. I'll open this one." That's it.
Yeah, and people are trying to figure out, like, what it means.
Yeah, I guess, I mean... Well, I'll just read from this article that came up. WBUR, which is Boston's NPR station. Get it? Scholars certainly did not, nor did the thousands of Twitter and Reddit users who responded to a viral post about the joke in March. Quote, it was probably some type of pun based on word pronunciation, wrote one person. Another guessed that the line was akin to a New Yorker cartoon offering a vignette of life in Sumer, or in Sumer, the earliest civilization in southern Mesopotamia. But man, I love that we can't figure this one out.
I have actually heard one analysis. I don't
That does make sense?
Possibly. That, like... back then, like, bad alcohol could just make you go blind. I mean, bad alcohol nowadays can make you go blind.
Yeah, wood alcohol,
Wood alcohol or whatever. So a blind dog opening would not have that problem since it's already blind. If the alcohol is bad...
Yeah, like the dog. You drink the alcohol, but why a dog? Like, there's so many layers to it. It's like... And it's funny too. What's even funnier to me is that like we think about this joke being so esoteric. You know, there's not a clear history. There's not a clear lineage for the "why did the chicken cross the road to get to the other side" joke. We don't know where that started. Like, we don't know the actual etymology of that joke, and that's crazy to me because like when I was a kid, I remember hearing it and thinking, well, I don't know if I thought this, but it certainly isn't the funniest joke in the world now. And I'm thinking to myself, what was the like? Maybe there was. Is this an anti-joke where you expect a crazy punchline, but it ends up being very plain? Or are they just talking about a suicidal chicken? Or like, what are we talking about? You know? And yeah, no, there's not a clear consensus on what the origin of that is. And yet we go even further back and we've got tons of jokes like this.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's kind of crazy what etymologies you can find out. Like, I saw something about the etymology of okay, and it's too much to talk about now that the video is over. But
I just gotta say, I know this is a trite observation in this sort of in the area of this conversation, but I'm so excited for 2,000 years from now, archaeologists to dig up the Markiplier face on the dude from Shrek, and it says E.
Yeah.
And then, like, they're just like, this must have meant something really important to these people.
So many, like, just like shitpost Gen Z kind of videos. One of the YouTube comments is, imagine aliens dig this up and it's their only understanding of human history art.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that was another part of Grand Mountain Adventure Wonderlands. I hope you're continuing to enjoy it and continue to join us next time.